Everybody, Travis Clater back with another strategic thought. I've seen a lot of articles recently, more so than usual, about ways to engage audiences across social media. And look, there have been tips and articles and papers and sessions and seminars and conferences about how to engage people across social media since it was introduced 20 years ago. Interestingly enough, very rarely do I see an article talk about if you should be on that platform at all, but that's a different strategic thought for a different day. There are always a lot of great tips on how to attract audiences on, let's say, the rising platforms like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and of course, Facebook, the tried and true. I even saw an article this week about the social media platform channels that are losing steam in 2022, including Tumblr and Twitch. But there are always tips on how to engage those audiences. There are tips on what types of video you should create, what types of messaging resonates best, what time of day to post on those particular channels, and so much more. These are tried and true best practices that so many communicators preach over and over and over, even though, interestingly enough, again, these best practices change on almost a daily basis. And that's kind of where today's strategic thought comes in. And it's their platform mentality. As I've been thinking about these tips and these best practices that I've been reading, it occurred to me that these audiences that we're trying to engage with take ownership of the platforms that they're engaged on. They see these channels as their platforms, and we as communicators, marketers, and brands need to adopt that mentality that this is their platform, this is their house. I've said it before, but it's not about us. It's not about our brands. When you take the egos out of it, it's about your audiences and what they want, what they want to consume, how they want to consume it. Brands shouldn't force fit their style or their goals into any specific social media or content platform or campaign. We get tips on how to engage in these channels, but if our approach puts our brand as the focus, as opposed to the audiences and the platform that we're engaging on, then we're kind of missing the point, and nothing that we do is going to resonate. Um, think of it as you are a guest in their house, and that means you need to adopt it's their platform mentality. As communicators representing brands, this can be a difficult mindset shift to make. After all, we want to put our brand in the middle of everything. We ask questions like, what will make our brand look good? Or how can we be edgy and trendy with our content? Or what content can we create that aligns with our brand values? Or how can we get people to click on that link? These types of questions go on, and I've heard them in strategy conversations a million times. The problem is that we're putting our brand first and not taking it's their platform approach when we ask those types of questions. So we have to reframe the questions. Again, this mindset shift to it's their platform can be tough, but there are some simple ways to reframe some of the strategic planning questions to help you along the way in making that shift. And it starts with using language that puts your audiences first. We've always been taught to ask the who, what, when, where, why as part of the planning process. And in my work with the military, the 5 Ws is a must for any campaign. So instead of framing these questions around our brand or our campaign, let's frame them around the audiences. Let's ask questions like, what or who do they want to hear from? What content do they find valuable? When do they want to engage with friends or networks or brands, if at all? Where do they want to communicate or hear from our brand or our client or our company? Why would they even care about what we're saying? And even how do they want to be engaged with on each of those platforms? This one simple shift by putting them at the focus or at the heart of these questions changes the framework of how you approach your campaign or your social media effort. And no, the job isn't over once you've answered these questions. You still have to tie them to your brand values and what makes sense for your organization. But foundationally, you'll be in a better spot to get the engagement that you're looking for. And there's your strategic thought for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out tcstrategic.com for more strategic thoughts as well as more content. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.